Hello and welcome back. This is Obscura Undead, your source for band news, tour news, music reviews, discussions, and this is our album review segment. I'm Mouse.
And I'm Azzy.
And we have 3 albums to cover for you.
3 great albums to cover for you. Yeah, the first one we're doing is Bragolin versus Adam Tristar, Let Out the Noise Inside.
Then we have Pullo,
A Dark Belief.
and then we have Swan Wash with Swan Wash. So let's get into it.
So, Bragolin versus Adam Tristar, Let Out the Noise Inside. This album was released on August 2nd on Young and Cold Records, and it is a collaboration between Bragolin, a Dutch band featuring Edwin van der Velde and Maria Karsenberg, and Adam Tristar, go figure, based on the album name, which is Daniel Spakerman. He's also Dutch. They're both on Young and Cold.
So Daniel, a solo guy, Daniel, goes by Adam Tristar?
Yes.
All right.
Both of these bands, Bragolin and Adam Tristar, released their debut albums last year, back in 2018. Bragolin released I Saw Nothing Good, So I Left.
Amazing album title. An amazing album.
And Adam Tristar released The Red Pill. So this is, I guess, technically their second album for both of them.
Together. Interesting.
Yeah, and when I started this album up, I was fully expecting it to be, okay, half Bragolin, half Adam Tristar.
I kind of still got that feeling.
I didn't feel that way. I felt like it was actually a surprisingly unified piece.
I agree with that as well, but I felt like Adam had more interaction in the tracks at the end of the album because there's a vast difference between the last half and the first half of the album.
Well, I mean, the last 2 tracks, Hate Close to Love was a Bragolin cover, and then I Saw Nothing Good, So I Left was an Adam Tristar remix, so that makes sense.
Yeah.
But...
And then Waldweg and Pianeg in the middle sounds like it was written by somebody else completely.
No, I loved that. It had like a synthy psychedelic vibe.
Yeah.
Like, I really liked that track.
So there's one thing I want to do, which I was looking at their Bandcamp. But did you ever notice that most bands in their bio have a little piece of Bandcamp poetry?
What do you mean?
It's just a line that's written by the band, and it describes what the band is about. And it's Bandcamp poetry.
Okay.
So this is...
Yes, okay, I know what you're talking about.
So this is Bragolin versus Adam Tristar's Bandcamp poetry. Mm-hmm. Their music contains a mixture of baritone and shoegaze guitars, organs, synths, drum machines, and touching vocals with horror movie-inspired lyrics to complete their unpredicted haunting sound.
Unpredicted haunting sound.
Poetry.
I do like...
It doesn't ever mean anything.
No, I do love bands like really lurid descriptions of themselves.
They are, but some of them are so generic. Not this one. This one's pretty good.
Yeah, this one's
But some of them are like, I mean, you could even make it up on the fly. Like, this band's signature soundscape
is a Jello shot in Dr. Caligari.
Yes, we should do that. We should do like Bandcamp poetry, like Mad Libs.
You know what would be like that old skit on SNL? What was his name? Who would come in and talk about the latest nightclubs in New York?
The Adam Sandler one?
No, it was
always
do this.
The one he's like this nightclub is spectacular.
No, like this nightclub.
Sebastian
it's like
has everything.
It's like, imagine if, oh god, it was like, oh my god, it was vaguely offensive. I can't think of anyone that isn't like slightly
this
offensive.
Nightclub has everything.
Yeah. I can't remember who that was.
It was Bill Hader.
It was Bill Hader, but I can't remember what the character was called.
Like Sebastian or something. I could see it. His face. Help us out.
Bill Hader's character on...
Stefan!
It took a second.
Oh my god, Stefan.
Yes, so we can do Stefan style
Bandcamp poetry. All right.
Anyway, back to Bragolin.
So Bragolin
versus
Adam Tristar. I was expecting... I didn't hear Adam Tristar before, so I didn't know what his contribution would be. So Bragolin's last album, I Saw Nothing Good, So I Left, was straight up classic, instant classic, post-punk revival. Very awesome, lots of guitars. I didn't listen to Adam Tristar's first effort, so I knew that there would be some kind of like Adam Tristar influence, and I was pleasantly surprised because I thought this album was more cold wave, dark wave.
It was very synth.
With lots of synths, yeah.
It was very synth, and I don't know how I felt about it.
I love that.
I know you do.
I love it.
I don't know how I felt about it because a lot of it felt just kind of like, like something I've heard before. But there was a lot of really interesting, like, modulation and distortion and everything like that to keep my interest in the synths.
A lot of different things going on in the album.
Yes.
I appreciated it all. I loved it all. I don't know how their writing process worked, but
yeah, because usually on Bragolin, Edwin does all the writing. He's the songwriter. Well, he might not do all of it, but he is the songwriter of the band, and him and Maria both play guitars.
Cool.
So that's why it's so, like, Bragolin has so many guitars, and I kind of missed that on this album.
I felt that some of the songs had a balance of both, but you can hear the guitars and the synths.
Yes.
And
Yes.
the synths were definitely turned up a notch. And that's the difference between your dark wave and your cold wave kind of stuff. There were a couple of them that had like more of the minimal synth edge of it, just the synths, just the drum machine, and I could not hear any guitar. A couple of tracks were like that.
What was your favorite track?
I loved them all, but the first one made me smile. Like, I was like, is this gonna be great? Like, you know when you listen to a song, The End Dwells in Us All.
Yeah, The End Dwells in Us All. That was a pretty great track.
So
and this was the single track.
The song
too.
starts, and I'm like, ooh, wow! I'm like, it like synths, and it's awesome. I'm like, all we need is that perfect vocal, because there's so many times you start a song, and you're like, this is great, and then the vocals start, and then you're like, this is bad. But this, I was just like, this is perfect. The second the vocals started, I was like,
yeah,
this is like butter.
It was Bragolin vocals.
It was Bragolin vocals.
Great.
You can't go wrong.
I think that this song was my favorite, and then my second favorite was Voldweg and Planig.
Voldweg and Planig. So that was
the super
that was like
super fast psychedelic vibe song. I loved it.
That was like Euro polka electro.
It was great and weird, and I loved it.
It was definitely very minimal synth, like almost something that you would hear from like Pat and Brigada Wolf or something that Keaton listens to. Like, it sounded like 1982, like French or German.
For your reference, Keaton is the guy who used to iron the purple curtain that lived behind us before we moved to Mouse House.
Yes, and he is a minimal synth expert.
Yeah.
So 1982 French cold wave, he's all about it. And that's what this song sounded like.
I thought it was ridiculous and I loved it.
Yes.
So go check it out. Go check out the music video for the album, which is for The End Dwells in Us All.
Yeah, you can't go wrong.
Can't go wrong.
I highly recommend it because, you know, I love stuff that's synthy like this. So this is going to be one of my top albums of the year.
Well, buckle in because the next two albums are not synthy, really.
That's okay. I like those too.
So let's talk about, you want to talk about Swan Wash?
Let's talk about Swan Wash.
Swan Wash. With their debut album, Swan Wash.
So Swan Wash, Bandcamp says the release date is September 6th.
September 3rd.
September 3rd.
But either way, it's in the future.
It is in the future, but you can listen to the songs right now.
Yeah.
On Bandcamp, which is interesting.
I've seen other releases do that before. I'm not entirely sure why. They do have a cassette that goes with the album, so maybe it has something to do with the release of physical materials for the album.
The band's from Bloomington, Indiana, comprised of 3 members. Matt Leitz on drums and vocals, Scott Ferguson on vocals and bass, and he seems to be the main vocalist, and Steve Garcia on guitar. So you have a band that's guitar, bass, drums.
Yeah, it's perfect. It is a perfect combination. I really liked the vocals on this album. So it's very gothy post-punky. It's very dark post-punk, and you go into it, and it's great. It's 7 tracks. It's their debut LP, and the vocals kind of reminded me, like, vaguely of Andy Sex Gang.
It was high pitched,
like very tight, high pitched.
I was trying to place which old like death rock band it was.
Reminded me
and
of Sex
was
Gang
definitely
Children.
I was like was it Sex Gang Children? I think not Specimen, but who's the band that does Sebastian?
Sex Gang Children.
Was it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Same band. Sorry, I forgot. Like I get it in my head, but yes, that's exactly what it sounded like. Their Bandcamp poetry says Cretaceous era death rock.
I loved that so much.
What?
'Cause I feel like I've seen that before.
What?
Cretaceous era death rock.
Okay, no.
I feel like I've seen that before.
Okay, Cretaceous means related to crustaceans, and Cretaceous, I guess, is like one of the dinosaur eras.
Yeah.
Okay, different than crustacean, but death rock, blowing on the dust-drenched architecture. Poetry.
Yeah.
Blowing on the dust-drenched architecture.
Maybe Cretaceous means something we don't know.
I think that's the era that the dinosaurs died. We might have to go look and see.
Yeah, we forgot our world history.
Cretaceous extinction, see?
Oh yeah, I see it.
Or no. Relating to or denoting the last period of the Mesozoic era between the Jurassic and Tertiary periods.
Are we in the tertiary period? I have no fucking clue.
145.5 million years ago. Whatever, it doesn't have to do with the death rock. It was just very interesting that they chose this word.
I feel like I've seen that before. Cretaceous era death rock.
Cretaceous.
Is that what I said?
Yeah, no. Okay, crustaceous
Cretaceous
is crustaceans. One is dinosaurs and one is like seafood.
Cretaceous.
Okay,
Did I say
Swan
it right?
Wash, your music is not like crustaceans. We apologize. It's not like dinosaurs either. So, the way when I was listening to this album, I didn't really get the death rock vibe so much. The vocals were a lot of fun, even though it did remind me of Sex Gang Children and all of those. The music didn't seem to be on board for the death rock, but it did have that post-punk like sound that sounded like it could have come out. It actually sounded like the 90s to me. It sounded like a 90s
It did.
band.
I agree.
Like the way that the songs were written reminded me of something, and you'll probably disagree with this, but it reminded me of a lot of the stuff from the grunge era, the outer grunge era, like Sonic Youth and Hole and that kind of thing.
I don't disagree with that, and I do feel we're starting to get a lot of grunge into the gothy post-punk side.
And I'm super excited
yeah,
about
and
that.
I don't mind that so much
It
because I
makes-
like the trashy guitar sounds.
Trashy guitar. Yeah, grungy guitar, dirty guitar. Like it gave me a nostalgic moment for the 90s. Yeah, I don't know. Good job. And there were a couple of tracks on there that I wasn't sure where it was going. Black Roof Part 1 and Black Roof Part 2 that could have just combined it into one song.
No, they needed to be separate. Because I thought the same thing when I was reading the track list, because I'm just like, this one's only like a minute 40 seconds.
And so the beginning of the Black Roof Part 1 was all like mostly instrumental.
And it was slower and it was a little softer. And then Black Roof Part 2 is a like harder version of it. It's a variation on that theme that was established in Black Roof Part 1.
It sounded like one song.
No,
with like an instrumental.
It's because it's 2 variations on it, and I loved that it was 2 tracks. I love that it was separated that way.
That's like, imagine if Drab Majesty like split up all of their songs every time they took the same song and had the same elements in the beginning, but
yeah,
it's
but
completely
they
different
did
in the
it
end.
once, not like 50 billion times.
Okay.
That's the difference.
Fair point.
So I thought the same thing when I saw the track listing, and I was just like, that seems pointless. And then I listened to it, and I got it, and I definitely think they should stay separate.
Static Symbol and Floor Camp, which are the last 2 tracks that round out the album, I thought were really interesting. They weren't so much rocky as they were poetic and dreary, I guess you can say. Moody and dreary is what the vibe that I got from them, and I really liked those tracks a lot.
Yeah.
As opposed to the poppy tracks.
Poppy?
Poppy? I don't have another word for it, but funner tracks, more fun tracks, more energetic.
I think the
More
word.
accessible?
I think energetic is
Energetic.
is a good one.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. So
There was one track. Oh, Static Signal.
Mm-hmm.
I think was the other guy singing, and a different vocalist.
I was wondering about that because I felt like at times they went into more of an Ian Curtis vibe on the vocals.
That might be that song. I don't remember what the vocals were like.
And I'm not entirely sure who is singing on which track, but I did feel like there was a shift in vocals to more of like an Ian Curtis vibe.
I hope that was the drummer singing. I love when drummers sing.
I do too, and I'm seeing that more and more, and it makes me so happy because I'm like, yes! Because,
I'd have to see it live, though.
you'd have to see it live. Is it because you can't picture them singing while swinging their arms all right, like, wildly?
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, I want to see that.
Yeah, but I really enjoyed this album. This is a great debut, and we've had so many great debuts this year. We've covered a few. And this is the latest, and you should go check it out. And I'm really excited to see where this band goes.
So best of luck, Swan Wash.
Best of luck, Swan Wash.
From Indiana.
We'd love to know how you got your name.
It's almost the same thing upside down. Because
Huh?
you notice that, okay, so not really. Almost.
I think that might be like brain weird.
brainwashing. So I like how on their album cover, it's just the word Swan Wash really big.
And then all the tracks upside down.
Upside down, yeah.
Yeah.
It could be a cassette tape.
It is. I think this is the one that's releasing on cassette, like right there.
So is this the cassette tape art? Like this is the one side of it, and then this is the bind, and then this is the part that goes inside, the little T-fold.
Yes. That's exactly what it is. We figured it out. We solved the mystery.
We're smart.
We're so smart. So smart. Well, sometimes you don't figure shit out until you talk it through.
I don't figure shit out until like years later, and then I'm like, Swan Washed!
Can't say I haven't done that, but I've totally done that.
I've totally done that. I've woken up in the middle of the night and I'm like, oh my god, that's where that actress is from.
Well, do you know where Pullo is from?
Pullo is from Indonesia.
Indonesia.
But Indonesia's so big. I mean, that could be...
They're from Medan, which is in the North Sumatra region.
I don't know any of those words. I know Indonesia.
So you know how you have like Malaysia, and underneath it you have This is okay. So one of our dream items is to have an Obscura Undead world map that we can put pins in for
Oh my
wherever
god.
we review bands.
Can we please? We could have it... It'll probably have to be on the side.
It would have to be on one of the side walls, but we can drag it out and we can start putting pins in. I really want to do this.
I have a globe. You want a globe? And we could just push it all over the globe and sort of look like Pinhead?
No, because I'm scared to like shatter any plastic ass globe that like comes out of your basic store.
I would love to shatter a plastic
We
ass
would break
globe.
the shit out of it, and you know
What's
it.
the point?
But I want to put in like hundreds of pins.
Filled with like nails.
Tangents.
Anyway.
So Pullo put out an album called A Dark Belief on July 26th. I believe it's self-released. I'm not sure. I couldn't find a label.
Oh no, I did see a label. It is called...
Because I know that there are two
Persona Experience.
Persona Experience.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
The band is made up of Raliak Moon on vocals, Gavin Sergar on drums, Faiz Fadila on guitar, and Rangi Ramadan on bass.
I love that name, Rangi.
Rangi.
Yeah. And the name was inspired by the Roman centurion Titus Pullo.
Oh.
Yeah, who was briefly mentioned, I guess, in Julius Caesar's, is it Caesar? Caesar? Caesar. I think I'm thinking Caesar because of Dr. Caligari.
I'm pretty sure everybody
Das
just says
Cabinet.
Caesar.
I think it's just Caesar.
Caesar salad.
Anyway, from a centurion that was mentioned in Caesar's writings.
So this is a 5-track EP.
Their second EP.
Their second EP, and I didn't know what to think. I guess I've never heard an Indonesian post-punk band, and they sound beautiful.
No, they really are great. Like, it has gothy vibes, it has post-punk vibes. It kind of reminded me of Killing Joke and Bauhaus.
It reminded me of Ploho, and like Russian. Well, I mean the name was almost like Ploho, but it reminded me of like the Russian and the Turkish post-punk that we get, like just sultry and savory
You mean
and
the
mellow.
non-Western post-punk that we get?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, and you were relating it to Killing Joke is British, right?
Yeah.
Bauhaus.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I was thinking of, it sounded like European like deep in the middle of nowhere European post-punk.
It did it that. So deep in the middle of nowhere bands.
Yeah.
I do agree with that, and I wonder at why I would like to see a lot more of their influences. I did find it looked to be a self-written bio on NME online, and they talked about being influenced by Bauhaus and a woman who is an indie post-punk artist who I simply do not know.
Oh.
And like B-horror movies, like B-movies and stuff like that.
Yeah, and I have to admit I didn't know what the lyrics were about. One of the songs is called Ermentrout. I don't even know what that is.
And lyrics weren't available for the album.
Lyrics
right?
were not available. There's almost no information about the band. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of like a shot in the dark when you're listening to the album. But to me, it was beautiful. It was dark.
I loved it. It was spooky. This
spooky.
This album truly deserves the moniker spooky.
It was darker than Swan Wash to me.
Yes, it absolutely was. I agree.
Like just spooky. Okay, spooky's a good one.
It was spooky.
So
and I love the bass.
The bass is exactly what carries the entire album.
Oh yes.
There was a song that was, I think, the most fun, Around the Bed. They actually have, I want to say, a music video on YouTube. There's something on YouTube for Around the Bed. I don't know if it's an official music video, but they are on YouTube.
I'm not sure. I didn't look that up for them. But I really liked Moaning Wife. I liked the way that it like let in. Like it slowly.
It sounds creepy.
It slowly led into the album, and the guitars start, the bass joins in, and then you got the drums, and it's like just a dead stop.
It's a good intro.
Yeah, and then you have the music starting for like a few more seconds, and then another dead stop. That's shorter than the first one, and then it launches into the song, and like you have like the drums hit and the bass hit and the guitar hits, and the track is
beautiful.
A great track. I really did love that track. I liked the pauses in the music. I thought that they might annoy me, because sometimes that happens, but
the pauses in the music were unexpected for me. Is that like the way the Indonesian metal is?
I don't know.
With the pauses?
I'm not sure.
It's only $4 on Bandcamp, digital album, 5 tracks. I strongly recommend this. I hope that this band puts out a full-length album. Mm-hmm. I'm following them. I'll definitely be watching them. They were a great surprise, and I would love to hear more music from Indonesia.
I know that they were talking about putting out a full-length album back in January of 2018, but they never did. So I'd love to see more music from them. I'd love to hear more music from them. It was great. It was great. Oh, what was your favorite track off of that album?
Moaning Wife.
Okay,
and then closely Around the Bed. Bed? Or is it Bend? Around the Bed. Just after it. I think I will always love track 1.
I feel like that's been the case lately, and I don't know if you're just influencing me into believing that.
Well, it's not just, I mean, of course, some people have those throwaway, like, intro tracks, track 1s, where it's like a minute and a half, and those are like just a waste of life. Stop putting them on albums. But the first song,
I'm not going to rehash this argument.
No. But like when you have a band and you don't know what they sound like, and then you hear that first song, and you just go, "Oh, thank God they're good." Oh, thank God they're good. Oh, thank God I don't have to struggle through like a really crappy album. This is actually a good album. Like you feel this sense of elation, and like that's the song that you like become one with this band. Mm-hmm. It's so important, and that's why I like track 1.
I guess maybe I feel that way a little bit because when bands like have the track like on Bandcamp, the bands can set what track you start on the album, and it's like in the middle of the album.
Oh, I hate that.
I always just go to track 1. I hit pause and I hit play on track 1.
They go to their like single or something. They're like, listen to track 3,
or what the band thinks is their best track, and it's not uncommon for what the band thinks is their best track and what the fans think is their best track to be wildly different, because we don't have that emotional attachment to the songs in the same way.
That's interesting. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. But I really enjoyed the albums this week. I like that we found an awesome band from an unexpected place. We need more non-Western just goth and post-punk in general.
I love those middle of nowhere post-punk bands.
Yes.
Like Jacuzzi.
Like Jacuzzi, another Turkish band. So that ends out our album reviews. Do we have any listener input from last week's episode?
I'm sure we do. Let's go find out.
So our comments from last week's album reviews, where we reviewed Echo Barrel and Death Loves Veronica and Bring Her.
Emily Rachel Gilly says, okay, I really like Bring Her. So that's awesome. I'm glad you got to listen to Bring Her. We enjoyed it a lot. Corinna Toima says, cool video. One thing, ont is pronounced ont, not onte. So
I replied to that one. Oh. Yeah, this is the one thing we actually do know how to pronounce.
But what's funny is like the first 5 videos we had, we were saying ont correctly, and then we just decided we just decided to go back to our
old habits die hard. It's the American.
I don't remember saying hante. It must have just like when it rolls off the tongue.
I bet you I did. And I'm the one who did the interview with Helen.
It was probably me. Beth Razoth says, I think people get out of control with some of these different genre names personally. All it does is confuse people trying to get into similar artists.
Yeah.
I realize you can't just call anything goth, but I think gothic rock, post-punk, death rock, and dark wave pretty much cover it. I'm still trying to figure out just what in the world makes grave wave different.
Nothing.
Well, probably a better conversation for another time and place. Great video as always.
Well, we are addressing it now.
Grave wave is just a term that people who are not in the scene listen to, like goth and post-punk, and they don't know what these terms are called. They have no clue.
Well, the term grave wave has been used randomly since like the early 80s, because I actually looked the word up at one point because I made a radio show a while back called Grave Wave.
I think I had seen it the first time in like the late 70s.
Yeah, it's been around for a while, and it never means anything unified, but it sounds cool because it rhymes and has the word grave in it.
Do you want to start hashtagging it?
Hashtag grave wave. And so if you're ever listening to goth music in a cemetery but not touching anything,
or stealing anything,
and you're just enjoying cemeteries, hashtag grave wave.
Gothic Rock Official says, nice San Sombra t-shirt. You're welcome. Thank you very much.
I think Brandon commented on it too, saying
Did
nice
he? Yeah.
San Sombra t-shirt.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I love it. I love the shirt.
I love that people.
And now there's like 4 more designs. I need to go get those as well.
Oh, San Sombra says great work as always.
Oh, there he is. Great work as always. I can't heart it. It's already hearted.
Oops. It's double-hearted.
What happens if I heart it again? Does it go away?
No,
I ruined it. Look, it's all like blue now.
Oh, I think it's just highlighted. As if you just moused out a computer. Anyway, thanks everyone for watching this video. We hope you liked the albums from this week. And as always, we're going to close out thanking our lovely patrons who are at the Violet tier or above for helping us, make this series possible. So thank you, Skullgirdle.
Thank you, Acid Bitter.
Thank you, Cadaver Kelly.
Thank you, David Zoasar.
Thank you, Diasiculus.
Thank you, Mason Shiver.
Thank you, Beth Razoth.
Thank you, Junkyard Bat.
Thank you, Libby.
I need the list. I don't remember. Thank you, The Count.
Thank you, Max Shrek.
Thank you, Tiffany.
Thank you, Demetria.
Thank you, Uncle Fester.
Yeah, thanks everyone. Oh, and we did start a new series, where we are at the Spookeasy Lounge in Tampa. Our first episode is a Q&A. I believe we have another episode coming soon if it hasn't been posted already.
And it's really just us chatting about things we love.
Yep. And we are getting some Patreon exclusive stuff. Spookeasy Patreon exclusive started up soon. Mostly it'll probably be content where we do a little more bitching and are a little less nice about classic albums or about TV shows or whatever just happens to be really grinding our gears that week.
Or whatever tickles our fancy.
Yeah, pretty much. That isn't out yet. We will definitely post an update when it is. And until next time, check out our news video from earlier this week. Check out our music video reacts,
our Facebook, our Mixcloud has mixes,
our Mixcloud.
all of that good stuff. Please subscribe and follow us, smash the like, and all that great stuff.
Okay, see ya. Love you, bye.